right now I'm trying to like juggle so many balls in the air, and I'm afraid that one of them will just drop, and I never want that to happen. Be willing to spend the money to pay someone to do that, to free up my time so that I can use my energy on something else that I really care about. Every time I set a goal, it also makes it not as fun anymore because it's kind of like you're working towards that. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we are doing our August monthly money reset. I cannot believe we are already in August, and I'm really excited to share this video with you because I feel like I've got a lot to say about the previous month and as well as the upcoming month. So without further ado, let's get into it. By the way, if you're new here, hi, hello, my name is Raisa. I usually do videos around personal finances and just navigating your life in your 20s and your 30s. So if you want to see more of that, make sure you're subscribed down below. So the way that I usually structure these videos is I talk about how I've been feeling about money and my finances in the previous month. And then I also look back into some of the goals that I set for July, and then we do our August budget and also set some goals for August. So how did we do with our budget in July? July was a very busy month for some reason. I think I just jam-packed so many things in that month. A lot of it was for my small business, so we can get started there. I'm also referencing my laptop, so if you see me looking over here, that's why. So last month, a really big goal of mine was to kind of get my small business sorted. If you're new here or if you didn't know, I have a small business called The Line. We are a lifestyle brand for the modern woman, and I've been running this business for the last like 3 years, I would say. And when I started the brand, I really wasn't sure if it was gonna go anywhere, and I never like set it up in a proper way, in the sense of like setting up a sole proprietorship and getting all of like the tax documents in order. And also at that time, I was hearing that if you're not making over $30,000 in Canadian, you don't really need to apply to be a sole proprietor yet, just because you're not making any like significant amount of money. So I was kind of going along just running my business because I wasn't making that much money. And then last year I hit about $50,000 in revenue at the end of the year, and there was kind of a flag in my mind of like, okay, I think I should probably look into this. With the nature of the business, we did get really busy in the beginning of the month, and then things kind of like slowed down during the summer months. So now that things have slowed down, I wanted to look back into setting up that foundation for my business, and it felt like July was the perfect time to do it. So that's kind of what I did this month. I did a whole revamp of my small business. I did make a video all about hiring a tax consultant, applying for a sole proprietorship here in Canada, amending my taxes in the previous year because I needed to document that for the CRA, and also the CRA giving me a big fat bill of $3,500 because of that. So I talk all about that in this video, so you guys can check that out afterwards if you're interested. But yeah, this previous month was really all about my small business. I think what I've come to realize is that I do want to make content about my personal finances because I think you guys really like these videos, and then I'll also make videos about my small business finances, but I'll try to keep them separate, and I probably won't put them all in one spreadsheet just because it makes it really hard for me to do my books at the end of the year for my small business. So I think starting this month in August, I'm going to start to separate them out, but I will kind of talk you through some of the expenses that I have had for this previous month. So other than the tax related things, I also did 2 photo shoots for The Line this month, which was so exciting. I mentioned in the previous video that photo shoots don't really just happen out of nowhere. There is so much coordination that happens and people involved to make these types of things happen. So I'm very grateful that I have such amazing supportive friends who are able to help me. We were able to execute 2 photo shoots this month. One was at a beach, which again is in that video that I mentioned, and the other one happened a couple days ago. Okay, moving away from my small business finances, how did the rest of my finances go this month? So I think I did a pretty okay job. I didn't do a lot of shopping for myself, like clothing wise. I did buy a couple new running shorts and running bras because I'm in my running era, which I will talk more about in a little bit. And that's really all I shopped for this month. And then a big category for me this month was home. If you look back into my previous monthly money videos, you would notice that I don't really have a home category that I spend on very often. This month, for whatever reason, my partner and I kind of just did a whole revamp of our home, and we bought quite a lot of stuff, and we bought it from all different places. So we got new chairs, which we got from Facebook Marketplace. We got new like dinnerware because there was a Fable sale that was happening in the beginning of this month, which we weren't really expecting, but the dinnerware is really nice. I think the prices were very good at the warehouse sale, so we couldn't really pass it up. And then we also bought two other things. So we got an Apple TV as well as a Sonos. And those things really added up. And we probably didn't need those things, but they just kind of make life more convenient. Anyway, we can talk about that in the expense section of this category, but yeah, home was a really big one. And then I also spent some money on vacation. We are gonna go to Kelowna at the middle of this month, and that was around $230. So not bad for accommodations. Overall, I think I did pretty good with my expenses. Okay, now getting into some of the goals that I set for the month of July. I separated these between personal goals as well as small business goals. So I'm gonna quickly go through my small business goals because I feel like I've already touched on them in this video and the previous video. So I said that I will apply for a sole proprietorship by the end of this month, which I did, and I'm very happy that I got that over with. And then the next one is I will get a GSC number, and the third one is I will get a business number by the end of this month. So I'm very happy to say that I got all of those things done. It was a little bit confusing to figure all of this out in the beginning, but my tax consultant really helped me find everything that I needed to make sure that I get everything done. So I'm very thankful for that. Next, we get into my July personal goals. So I said that I will run 3 times a week. I'm gonna give myself a check mark for this because I've actually been running quite a bit this month, and I loosely set a goal for myself, which I don't think I've ever said on camera, but I kind of said I want to maybe run a 5K by the end of July, maybe by the end of August. I'm very happy to say that I actually ran my very first 5K last week, and I felt very accomplished because I feel like I'm one of those people who always told themselves that I'm never going to be able to run a 5K. I was never a runner in the past, and I think that running an amazing outlet for me. It allows me to just kind of get out of my head and into my body. So I've been really enjoying running this month. The next personal goal is I will practice yoga twice a week. This one I'll also give myself a check mark. I may have missed maybe 1 or 2, but I feel like I really prioritized my health and my wellness this month. So I'm going to give myself a check mark here. And then the third personal goal that I have, which is something that I always want to have and carry through with me throughout this year, is I will be mindful of my discretionary spending this month. I knew going into the month of July that it was going to be very expensive just because I had all of these photo shoots planned and I needed to make sure all of my contractors got paid. So I didn't really spend a lot of money on myself, as I mentioned. I think I maybe bought like a couple new running shorts and a running bra because I needed something to run in, but otherwise I have been pretty good with my shopping this month. So I'll give myself a check mark for that as well. Okay, let's talk about my income, savings, and my investments. So in my income category, I usually put my corporate job and expected around $2,000. My total for my corporate job this month was $5,565.15. And usually I put the line as an income source for myself. As I mentioned, I want to start to keep my small business expenses and finances and income just separate from my personal business because it's not really income because I take everything that I make with the line and I reinvest it back to that business. So it's not really money that I am keeping for myself, if that makes sense. So I think going forward, my income will only have my corporate job, at least for now. In terms of savings, I usually put down $200 in my emergency fund every 2 weeks, and I was able to do that. So a total of $400 for this month. For my investments, I know I mentioned, I think maybe in May or June, that I wanted to up my investing, but it's just been really hard because I needed every single penny for this month to go into my small business. So for my Wealth Simple, I've kept it to my typical $200 bi-weekly for a total of $400. And then I'll quickly go through my bill payments. There's not much here that has changed, I don't think. My rent is still $1,068.45. I split that with my partner, and then my Spotify bill is $11.19, although I think I got an email that Spotify is going to start to increase their monthly membership. our monthly subscription. And then we rent out a storage unit. This is $50 and I split it with my partner, so I paid $25. I run Google Ads for my small business, so that is $160 a month. And then I also have a Google Workspace, which is $8.74. I have an Audible subscription, which is $16.74. We pay for Hydro, which this month was only $32. I usually pay around $75 for this category, but I think because it's summertime, it's just a little bit less. And then for my home insurance, we pay $9.95. My phone bill is $73.45. My car payment is $413.51. My internet bill, again, split with my partner, is $39.20. I pay for Adobe Creative Cloud, which is $43.67. And then, these two are new. I briefly mentioned that we did get a new Apple TV, which means that it comes with an Apple TV subscription, which is $10.07. And then I also got some extra Apple storage just for my phone because I feel like I've got a lot of stuff on my phone. So this was $14.55. And this is now going to be a recurring expense, which is why it's under my bill payments. My car insurance is $76.34. I also pay for an American Express membership with my Cobalt card. That is $12.99. My CDA loan is $27.03. I've got Kindle Unlimited, which is $10.49. Got a few more here. So Klaviyo, which is the email platform that I use for my small business, this is $41.96. Canva Pro is $16.99. Sportsnet is $16.79. And then lastly, with my bank, I have a service charge, which is $16.95. So that all totals up to $2,145.68. This amount is my set amount that I always have to pay every single month. I feel really good about this, and I still have to figure out if I want to keep the small business stuff in here or if I want to take it out. But for now, they are in here because I haven't figured that out yet. And then getting into my variable expenses. So these are the expenses that kind of change and differ every single month, and everyone's categories are going to be different. So for myself, I've got alcohol and drinks. We had to replenish our bar cart this month, so that's why the amount is slightly inflated for this month. I usually budget $25 and my actual is $96.80. My coffee budget is $50 and my actual for this month is $66.90, so I'm over by a little bit. I'm kind of surprised with my eating out this month. I didn't really go over it, which I've been going over it every single month the last couple months. So I ended up spending $316.82. And then my groceries, again, I have some leftover and my actual was $210.32. Personal care is a lot this month, which is so strange because I actually think I'm gonna lessen that for August. When I looked into this, I realized that I had to pay for my contacts this month, and that's kind of a one-off expense. I don't really buy contacts every single month. And then, as I mentioned, under my shopping category, I budgeted $150 and I only spent $64.96. And that is for a pair of running shorts and a running bra. I'm just gonna skip over the business expenses because I feel like I've talked a lot about my business already. Next is transportation. I paid $19.15 this month, slightly over. And then for Cypher, who is my cat, I didn't spend anything on him. I think I did, but I put it under groceries because we get his cat food at the grocery store, so I probably need to adjust that. And then, as I mentioned, for vacation, I spent $231 because we are going to Kelowna in a few weeks, and that is the price for accommodations. Treat yourself is $0 this month. Wow, that is so surprising for me. I always like to treat myself, even if it's something small. So the fact that it's $0 this month is really great. And then my home category is a lot. So let me just touch on home for a bit. So I mentioned earlier that we don't really spend a lot on home, especially in the last few months, because I feel like we have really everything that we need. And I think my partner and I are pretty good about not keeping up with the Joneses, and we really buy just what we need and what we like, and we don't feel the need to upgrade things. But this month we did go to the Fable Warehouse sale, which is a dinnerware company. So we got some new dinnerware because we did need to upgrade it. And that was around $120, which really wasn't bad for the amount of things that we were able to pick up. And then later in the month, we also got Apple TV. And I think what sparked that was the Amazon Prime Day. That was one of the things that was on sale on Amazon Prime, and it was only like $15 off. Like, really, it wasn't anything. But when I saw that, it kind of got me thinking of like, I really did want an Apple TV just because of its convenience. I know that it really interacts well, especially if you're kind of an Apple user, which we are in this household. So I thought that it made sense, and it really wasn't that bad in terms of the price. It was like $180, and I don't regret the Apple TV at all because I feel like it's already so worth it. It's just made watching TV so much more convenient than the way that we used to do it before. What I think got us is that because we got the Apple TV, there was a bit of a like, okay, what else can we upgrade, or like what else can we get? We started to look at speakers just because we had a new Apple TV, so like why not get a new speaker? And we ended up getting a Sonos. They're quite expensive, so that one is probably something we didn't need to get. It's more of a nice to have. I mean, I don't regret the Sonos. I'm glad we have them. They're an investment. It's going to last us a very long time. And I'm happy that we have them, but did we like need them? Probably not. They're more of a nice to have, I would say. So that's kind of what is fueling the high spending for this category. Okay, moving into YouTube sponsorships. So for my small business, I do sponsor a YouTuber to talk about our products. So that was $550 right on budget. And then for gifts, I budgeted $0, and I don't remember what $13.64 was. I think maybe, let me see. Oh yes, I have a friend whose birthday it was, and I got her a book for her birthday, and when she received it, she sent me a photo, and it just made me smile so much because I love to share books with people, books that I've read with people that I think that they might like. So that was for a book. And then for YouTube, I budgeted again $0 for this, and I spent $33.13. That was for extra batteries for my camera as well as a new HDMI cable. Miscellaneous is $0, and then I already talked about the photo shoot, so that was $2,200 for the 2 photo shoots that I did this month for the line. That is everything that I spent this month for both my small business as well as my personal finances. It was a lot of money this month, but I'm feeling really good about where my money went. Okay, I just kind of sat down and thought about the month of August and what I want to get up to and what the goals that I want to set for myself are. And I think that I have come up with a theme for this month, and it's all about balance. Balance is something that's very hard for myself because I got a lot going on, and I really don't know why I do this to myself. I'm kind of getting a little bit emotional just thinking about it. If you're a seasoned subscriber, you kind of know my situation. So I do have a 9-to-5 job that is obviously a priority for me. And I also have a small business. And for a long time, like the last 3 years, it's just been those 2 things that I've got going on. And I felt like it was a nicely balanced lifestyle. So every time I was done my 9-to-5, I was able to kind of hop in and do work for the line, and that was manageable. And then earlier this year in March, I started my YouTube channel, which is this channel that you're watching on, and it's really given me a lot of creative freedom, and it's just brought me so much joy. In terms of like actually filming videos like this, it's really hard for me because I'm not someone who presents well, in my opinion, and it's really contradictory because that's exactly what I'm doing right now. So it doesn't come easy for me, I guess is what I'm trying to say, but I do love editing videos. So I think adding YouTube to my already very busy schedule was something that I was mindful about because I wasn't sure if I'm going to be able to produce content consistently. And I've been finding that I want to be consistent on YouTube, and I thought I could do 1 video a week, and I think I'm still doing it. It's hard to find time to film, and it's also hard to find time to edit, but I try to make it happen. I say all of those things, but I do really like YouTube because I think that it challenges me and it gets me out of my comfort zone. I know that it's not sustainable. It's not always going to be like this. I know that in November and December, the line is going to pick up and I may not have time to film. So I'm like really conscious of that, and I want to find more balance in my life. I want to understand for myself that everything that I'm doing and putting energy to is something that is valuable to me, because not only do I have those things that to me are very important, there's also things like my health and my relationship with my partner and my parents and my friends. Like, those things are also important to me, and right now I'm trying to like juggle so many balls in the air, and I'm afraid that one of them will just drop, and I never want that to happen. So I think that this month I'm just gonna be really thinking about my priorities and what I want to spend my energy on. So that is the theme for this month, and that's how I've created my goals list for this month. So the first goal for this month is I will outsource tasks where I see fit. So sometimes I like to do everything on my own, and that's just absolutely not possible. I think there are tasks that I can start to outsource. So I'm gonna be identifying those things and be willing to spend the money to pay someone to do that, to free up my time so that I can use my energy on something else that I really care about. So that is goal number one. Goal number two is I will properly disconnect on vacation. So I've already mentioned that I'm going to Kelowna with a few of my friends in August, and I just want to not work during that time. I think I always bring work with me everywhere, whether it's YouTube or the line or my 9 to 5, and I just want to not do that and have fun with my friends and really disconnect. All the work will still be here when I'm back, and no one is going to die if I don't fulfill an order right away. And then the third goal is, I think this is still really important to me, and that's why I put it on here, is I will continue my momentum with running. So I picked up running in July, and it's something that I've really enjoyed. I found that I really like running on my own because it helps me clear my mind. Sometimes I'll have a really long day, and if I go for a run, it makes me feel so much better as opposed to not doing the run. So I know that I set a 3 times a week goal last month, and I just wanted to make the goal less intense. So I didn't want to set a number. So what I said is I will continue the momentum of running, which just means that I'm going to try to run as much as I can whenever I feel like I can. And I've mentioned this to my friends as well, that running for me, there is no goal. Every time I set a goal, it also makes it not as fun anymore, because it's kind of like you're working towards that, and it just makes it less fun. But running has been so much fun for me. I look forward to going outside and going for a run and clearing my mind. And if I attach a goal to it, I'll be so intense about it, the way that I am with a lot of things. But yeah, I don't know if that makes sense or if you guys are resonating with that at all, but that's kind of how I feel about attaching goals to hobbies. That's exactly what I want running to be, is a hobby. And I don't care about my pace. I don't care about my distance. I just want to run because it's fun and it gets me out of my head. So those are my goals for the month of August, and I feel really happy that there's not a whole list of things that I need to do, and I feel really happy that my theme is actually balance and finding more balance in my life. Like, it feels less intense. Like, I feel like July was a lot. I did a lot for my small business, and hopefully it will all translate to good things this upcoming month. Okay, let's quickly dive into my August finances. So for my income, as I mentioned, I'm no longer going to be putting the line as a line item here. So for my corporate job, I'm expecting $2,000 every 2 weeks. So my total expected income is $4,000 for the month of August. So for my savings, I'm still putting $400 monthly into my emergency fund, as well as my investments, still $400 every single month into my Wealthsimple trading account. And then getting into my bill payments, as you can see, this is the same as I went through for the month of July. The only thing that's changed is I did add one new category, which is FreshBooks. I was talking about FreshBooks in my previous video about my small business. It's essentially my bookkeeping software, and it's where I input all of my expenses and all of my income, so that when it comes to tax time, everything is all in one place, and that is $8.99 monthly. So the total for my bill payments that I am budgeting is $2,203.31. And then lastly, for my variable expenses, alcohol and drinks, again, is $25. That is the same. For my coffee budget, I bumped this up $10. So it used to be $50, now it is $60. Eating out is the same. It is $440. And then for groceries, it's the same as the previous months. It is $300. My personal care, I did bump this down to $90. For my shopping, it's the same as the previous month. It was $150. My transportation is $10. Cypher is $30. And then I also budgeted $600 for vacation. So I'm budgeting $600 because I have that Kelowna trip coming up. So anything that I spend there will come out of this budget. And then I also am planning a new trip that is coming up in September. I'm still kind of figuring out the details, but I'm potentially going to be going to Montreal at the end of September and Toronto as well to visit my family. So I'm really excited about it. I've been manifesting Montreal over the last couple weeks and I'm really excited about it. And I'm just trying to figure out my itinerary and all of that. I'm expecting to spend around $400, $500 for this. So that will come out of this vacation budget. Treat yourself, I put to $0, but who knows what I spend this month. I'm really hoping I don't spend a ton. Home category is also at $0. I don't think I'm gonna be spending anything for my home this month. For YouTube sponsorships, so I'm pausing on YouTube sponsorships for this month, maybe next month. I'm still thinking about next month, but this month is $0 because it's a little bit slower in the summertime for me. For gifts, I've got $0, YouTube $0, and miscellaneous $0. So I really brought down my variable spending this month and my total is $1,705. Please note that I've removed my business expenses from this category because I want to start to track them elsewhere or just separate for my personal expenses, and that's why it's not here, and that's why that number seems lower in comparison to my previous months. So that is my August budget. I'm really excited to find a little bit more balance this month and just more rest and just enjoying the summer. That is it. That is my budget reset. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. And I hope that wherever you are, you're having a wonderful day. Bye, you guys.